Hello, beautiful hearts, and welcome to a conversation that I've been feeling called to share with you as we approach one of the most transformative astrological transits of the year. I want to speak to you about Venus retrograde, not from a place of fear or worry about what might go wrong, but from a deep understanding of what this cosmic event is here to heal and transform within us. If you've been feeling a stirring in your heart lately, a sense that something old is ready to be released, or that patterns in your relationships need attention. If you've been questioning your worth or noticing how you give and receive love, you are already feeling the preparation for this profound inner journey that Venus retrograde offers us. Venus retrograde happens approximately every 18 months, and when it does, it's like the universe is giving us a sacred pause button on all matters of the heart. This isn't about relationships falling apart or financial disasters, though sometimes external changes do occur. This is about being given the gift of time and space to examine our relationship with love itself, with our own worth, and with how we've been taught to value ourselves and others. Let me help you understand what's really happening during Venus retrograde from an energetic perspective. Venus governs love, relationships, beauty, money, and self-worth, all the things that help us feel valuable and valued in this world. When Venus moves backward through the sky, it's like she's asking us to retrace our steps, to revisit old patterns, old wounds, and old beliefs about what we deserve in love and in life. This particular Venus retrograde cycle offers us a profound opportunity to heal what I call inherited love patterns, the ways we learned to love, be loved, and value ourselves based on what we observed and absorbed in our earliest relationships. Many of us are carrying around beliefs about love that we picked up when we were too young to question them. And Venus retrograde gives us the chance to examine these patterns with adult wisdom and compassion. During this time, you might notice that past relationships or unresolved feelings seem to surface for review. This doesn't necessarily mean these people are meant to return to your life, though sometimes reconciliation does happen when it serves everyone's highest good. More often, these memories and feelings are arising so you can finally heal and complete what was left unfinished, so you can extract the wisdom and release the pain. Let me share how Venus retrograde energy typically shows up in your body and emotional landscape, because I want you to recognize these experiences as normal and even necessary parts of the healing process. You might notice your heart feeling more tender or vulnerable than usual. Old grief or disappointment might surface unexpectedly, perhaps while listening to a song, seeing a photo, or visiting a place that holds memories. There can be a deep longing that emerges during Venus retrograde, but it's often not for a specific person or situation. It's usually a longing for a kind of love you've never fully experienced, unconditional acceptance, genuine intimacy, or simply being valued for exactly who you are without having to perform or prove your worth. You might find yourself reviewing past relationships with new clarity, seeing patterns you weren't aware of before. Sometimes this brings up regret or sadness about choices you made or time you feel was wasted. But this is actually Venus helping you develop discernment about what you want to create differently going forward. Financially, you might notice shifts in how you think about money and material security. Venus retrograde often brings up our deepest beliefs about whether we deserve abundance, whether it's safe to invest in ourselves, or how we use money to express love or seek security. Now let's explore both the shadow aspects and the profound gifts that Venus retrograde offers us. Because like all planetary retrogrades, this transit contains medicine that can only be accessed by moving through the process with consciousness and self-compassion. The shadow side of Venus retrograde can show up as old insecurities about our worthiness in love. You might find yourself comparing your relationships to others, wondering if you're lovable enough, attractive enough, successful enough to deserve the love you crave. Sometimes people experience a crisis of self-worth during this time, questioning their value in ways that feel painful but are actually necessary for healing. There can also be a tendency to idealize past relationships or to focus on what went wrong rather than what you learned. Some people get stuck in patterns of blame, either toward themselves or others, rather than using this time for genuine healing and growth. But here's the extraordinary gift that Venus retrograde offers. It's giving you the opportunity to rewrite your relationship with love from the inside out. Instead of seeking validation from external sources, you're being invited to develop what I call unconditional self-regard, the ability to value yourself independent of what others think of you or how they treat you. This transit helps you recognize where you've been giving your power away in relationships, where you've been settling for crumbs when you deserve the whole feast, where you've been prioritizing harmony over honesty or connection over authenticity. Venus retrograde also develops your capacity for what I call fierce self-love, the kind of love that's willing to disappoint others in order to honor your own truth. The kind of love that sets boundaries not from anger, but from deep self-respect. The kind of love that refuses to abandon yourself, even when others do. Let me share some practical ways to work with this Venus retrograde energy for healing and transformation rather than letting it overwhelm you. First, create what I call a love inventory. Take time to reflect on your relationship patterns. How do you typically show love? How do you prefer to receive love? Where do you tend to give too much or accept too little? This isn't about judgment. It's about developing awareness so you can make conscious choices. Second, practice the art of healing conversations with yourself. Write letters to past lovers or partners that you'll never send, not to maintain connection, but to process your feelings and gain clarity. Express what you wished you had said, what you learned, what you're grateful for, and what you're ready to release. Third, engage in worthiness work by examining your beliefs about what you deserve. Notice how you talk to yourself about your appearance, your talents, your mistakes. Begin treating yourself with the same kindness you would show a beloved friend going through difficulties. Fourth, create a financial self-worth practice by looking at how you spend and save money. Are you investing in things that genuinely nourish you, or are you spending from a place of emptiness or insecurity? Venus retrograde is perfect for realigning your financial choices with your true values. Fifth, practice what I call authentic intimacy in your current relationships. Use this time to have deeper, more honest conversations about needs, boundaries, and desires. Venus retrograde supports communication that comes from vulnerability rather than strategy. Sixth, develop a beauty practice that connects you to your own inherent worth rather than seeking external validation. This might be dancing alone in your room, spending time in nature, creating art, or simply practicing appreciation for your body and all it does for you. Seventh, if you're single, use this time for what I call relationship preparation. Not trying to attract someone, but becoming the kind of person who can sustain the love you desire. This means healing your own patterns, developing your own interests, and learning to enjoy your own company. I want you to understand that if past lovers or unresolved situations surface during Venus retrograde, this is not necessarily a sign that you should reconnect. Sometimes the universe is bringing these energies up so you can finally complete the healing process and move forward with greater wisdom about what you want to create. If reconciliation does feel aligned, approach it slowly and with clear boundaries. Use this time to see people and situations as they actually are, rather than as you hoped they would be. Venus retrograde supports authentic connection based on reality rather than fantasy or potential. For those of you in committed relationships, this can be a beautiful time for renewal if you approach it consciously. Use Venus retrograde to rediscover each other, to heal old patterns together, and to recommit to loving each other as you are, rather than as you wish the other person would become. You might find that Venus retrograde reveals places where you've been trying to control or change your partner, or where you've been sacrificing yourself to avoid conflict. This is valuable information that can help you create more authentic intimacy. What I find most beautiful about Venus retrograde is that it's ultimately about returning to love, not the conditional performance-based love that so many of us learned, but the kind of love that recognizes the inherent worth and beauty in every soul, starting with your own. This transit is teaching you that your worthiness doesn't depend on being perfect, being chosen by someone else, or meeting anyone else's expectations. Your worth is inherent, unchangeable, and has nothing to do with your productivity, your appearance, or your relationship status. As you move through this Venus retrograde period, remember that healing is not a linear process. Some days you'll feel clear and empowered, and other days you might feel sad or confused. Both experiences are part of the journey. Be patient with yourself and trust that something beautiful is being born from this inner work. The love you're seeking already exists within you. Venus retrograde is simply helping you clear away everything that's been blocking your access to it. You don't need to earn love, perform for love, or prove your worthiness for love. You are love, expressing itself in human form, and this cosmic event is helping you remember that truth. May you use this time to fall in love with your own precious life. May you recognize your beauty, your worth, and your capacity for both giving and receiving authentic love. And may you trust that every experience, even the painful ones, is part of your journey toward greater wholeness and deeper compassion. The universe is supporting your return to authentic love. Trust the process, honor your heart, and remember that you are worthy of every beautiful thing you desire. This content is provided for spiritual and educational purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for medical, psychological, legal, or financial advice. Please consult qualified professionals for matters concerning your health, relationships, and practical life decisions.